So we've really built Mango around two things: is our core technology and our support. Our average answer time for our support team last month was 1 minute. And we know that's important because when you're on the phone with us, you're not being able to do the things that drive value in the practice. And we understand that.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Raving Patients Podcast, sponsored by DocSites and Cloud Dentistry. I'm excited to bring you today a podcast about voice over internet protocols, the way you should be using phones in your office. I was at the Utah Dental meeting in the beginning of end of March, beginning of April, 2022. And I finally had a chance to meet the CEO of Mango Voice. I've always been interested in Mango Voice. I am a current Weave user, but I wanted to speak to Kevin because I had interest in learning more about what Mango Voice can do. I've heard about his company in so many different forums. So many different docs are happy with them. So I wanted to finally get him on the podcast so I can let my listeners and my viewers know a little bit more about Mango Voice, considering the current state of affairs in the dental industry. So please welcome to the Raving Patients Podcast, Kevin Tallman. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it, and really excited to be here with you.
So I'm glad we finally got this recorded in a very quick period of time. We actually only met a week ago. so
yeah.
At the Utah Dental meeting. So we got this together very quickly, which is good. We found time in our busy schedules to spend 30 to 35 minutes informing the audience a little bit about, what Mango does, how it compares to some of the other competitors out there, what type of value proposition it drives, how you can help the dental community. So to begin with, why don't you spend just a couple of minutes letting the listeners and viewers know a little bit about you, your background, how you got into dental space. It was actually a pretty interesting conversation we had about how you got into Mango Voice. So if you want to just kind of go over that would be awesome.
Yeah, thank you. So like you said, my name's Kevin Tallman. I grew up actually in Southeast Idaho in a pretty small place called Idaho Falls, and now live in Southern Utah and St. George. My past is, before Mango, we owned a oil field services company, and me and a partner scaled that up and sold that off. And the founder of Mango was my neighbor. And so after we sold our last company, I was bumming around, and about after a year, my wife looked at me and she said, "You got to go find something to do. You're driving me nuts. Go figure out something else to do." And so I ended up seeing Dave one night and was talking to him about Mango and how Mango's doing. I was aware of what he was doing there, and he was talking about some of the exciting things. This is when they were getting into the dental space, and after spending some time with him, I called my partner and said, "Hey, I think I found our next investment, and I'm really excited about this company and their technology and their core values and what they're trying to do." And so about 4 years ago, we came in, invested in Mango, became partners with Dave. And originally our idea was just to come in and be a supporting cast for him and give him the tools he needed to be successful and be in the background. That obviously hasn't happened exactly how I thought. And now, like you said, the CEO here at Mango, and really excited about the platform that we have and what we've been able to do in the dental community, and excited to share with you and everybody that listens a little bit more about Mango today. Also, things I really like to do. I love to read. It's one of my passions, and spend time with my family. So my wife, Courtney, and we have 4 kids ranging from 12 to 4.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for that brief intro about you and how you kind of got involved in the space with Mango. So let's jump right in. Obviously, your biggest competitor in the dental space is Weave. I mentioned them. I as of right now, I am a customer of Weave, to be very transparent with the audience. I've been in talks with Kevin about bringing Mango Voice into my office. As many listeners know, I'm not the owner anymore, so we're in that initial stages. But I am planning to switch from Weave to Mango. But let's start off by how you would compare yourself well, let's start off with saying what Mango Voice is. Obviously, we know you're a voice over internet protocol company, but why don't you, there's a lot more to Mango other than that. So can you kind of let the listeners and viewers know a little bit about what Mango is?
Yeah, so there's a few things that make Mango really unique in this space. And what most people don't know is a lot of VoIP companies or phone companies are actually built on licensed platforms. So they go out and buy a license and they get access to this technology. They then build a UI on top of that, and they can go out and basically market phones and being a phone company. One of the real unique things about Mango is we're not built on a licensed platform. We own all of our back-end technology. And what that's allowed us to do is to really be more focused on the customer and creating a really unique experience. When you're on a licensed platform, your ability to do things is based upon whatever that licensed platform gives you access to, and you don't really drive kind of the product roadmap. And what Mango's really tried to do, and even the name Mango, is to take old, boring, really complex systems and make them fun and easy for the user to use. And so what we do is to give you the tools to be able to manage your phone system in a whole new way that most people have never had access to. And it's a completely different experience than what they're accustomed to.
Gotcha. Thank you for talking about that. So how are you most helping the dental community now? Where do you have Mango positioned? Obviously, we already talked about one of the main competitors you have, but where do you see Mango fitting in helping the dental community currently?
So we've taken a little bit different approach. What we've done is they've taken the phone and some of the patient engagement services and put them together in a platform. And what we've done in the dental space, instead of building patient engagement services within Mango, is we've gone out to a lot of those services and now some of the PMSs in the market and built integrations with them. And the reason we did that is we think a one size fits all isn't always the right solution for people. For some people, it may be the right solution. And so now with Mango, you can go pick the patient engagement or patient management system that you feel like meets your needs and gives you the functionality that you want. And we can do the phones. And that's really what we focus on, is the phones and creating that experience and working with all the amazing partners we have in the dental space to be able to create a more unified experience. But they do what they do really well, and we do what we do really well. And as we've been able to focus on that, the feedback we get from customers is just how excited they are to be on a platform that, one, works, that's stable, and two, they feel like they get the support that they need. And that then on the other side, they're leveraging technologies that meet their needs and help them in the office with regards to, the patient engagement services, or sometimes now the patient management systems that we have integrations with.
Yeah, one of the things I really like what you said is that you didn't do what these other companies traditionally did. I know you said you didn't go to the PMSs and build an integration, but you also know what you're best at doing, and you didn't go really wide. You stay narrow in what you do best rather than trying to bring in all these third-party products. Or third-party, things. You've kept, the true thing that you do as what you do. I'm very much against a website company who can do reputation. They can do Google AdWords. They can do SEO. They can do that. They do everything, and you're with one company. And I've never been a fan of those companies simply because you're putting all your eggs in one basket. And as we mentioned, I look at these types of products as an all-in-one printer. You buy it for the printer, but you get the scanner, the fax, and the copier, and none of those other three features are actually any good. I mean, they offer the services, but they're not the best in class. And I think for my practice, I want the best in class. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And we're really focused on what we do, and we do phones really, really well. And that's the lane we stay in. And you're right. We've chosen not to, integrate with the Open Dentals and the Dentrix. We do have some cloud-based PMSs that we integrate with, but we've chosen that specifically to what you said, which is we know what we're good at, and we stay in our lane and build those partnerships and those integrations to drive value to the end user.
So just so the listeners and viewers know, I know you said you don't really work with the traditional PMSs, you work with some cloud-based, but you also have integrations with a number of the communication softwares, the patient engagement platforms. Can you simply rattle off or real quickly rattle off a couple of those companies that you work well with? So if they're using one of those products, they know there's a possibility for you to work with them?
Yeah. So we're integrated with Yappy, Legwork, Modento, Flex. We're integrated with CareStack, Oryx. Integration with Curve is coming out. Patient Express. Trying to remember if there's other ones. So those are the main integrations that we have, and they've been great partnerships because our partners don't want to do phones, but they want to be able to offer that to the end customer, a screen pop, click to call, some of these other functionality. And so having these partners has been really well because they don't want to do what we do, and we don't want to do what they do. And I think it's been proven in the traction that we've been able to get and creating that customer experience, and it's been really positive.
No, I think that's great. Let's now change focus a little bit and talk more about the landscape in the dental industry. So obviously, someone's listening to this, and you really either have a voice over internet protocol product already, or you have traditional phone lines, a traditional landline that you get through Verizon or whatever it is. I think we had spoken, and you said that I thought the percentage was really low of those people who have already implemented voice over internet. So it's amazing, in my opinion, how few people are using it. But, for those what is that percentage? Because I can't remember what you told me. And then, what are the biggest advantages of moving from a traditional landline to a voice over internet product?
Yeah, what's interesting is when you look at the landscape and the technology that's available, the adoption is actually fairly small. For the people that are truly leveraging a cloud-based system. It's sub 20% of people have adopted a cloud-based communication or phone system. I think that's for a couple of reasons. Is the technology, even 5 or 10 years ago, still wasn't where it is today. And so the technology is really advanced today, and also with internet speeds, fiber, these types of things, and the infrastructure that's come into place have allowed this technology to work much better. And so I think there's still a major segment of people that it still scares them. And the idea of, well, what if my internet goes down, for example? What do I do? Or what if this happens? And it really is a big change of mind when you're coming from, like you said, a very traditional phone where, when we talk to people, they say, well, how many lines can I have? And I say, well, you can have an infinite number of lines. There's no such thing as lines in the VoIP world because it's all going over the internet. And so we really have to kind of step back with the customer and say, okay, let's understand this technology and let's understand what it does. And then how can this benefit your practice? So you mentioned that we met at the UDA, and I'm thinking of a conversation I had with a practice there who's on traditional landlines. And she said, oh my gosh, if I want to change a sound clip, the pain of having to change the sound clip. And she walked me through the process. And I brought her over to my computer and I said, here's how you change a sound clip in Mango. You upload it right here, you click here, you hit save, and it's done. And her mind was blown. She said, you can do that? And we also talked about some of the other functionality, which is we could tell your phone system what to do when you're open or when you're closed or if it's a holiday. And all that functionality can be separate, and it can do all these different things that you didn't even know was available to you because all you have is a hard copper line, and the phone rings, and if you miss it, it goes to a voicemail, and you got to check your voicemail.
Gotcha. That is, definitely one of the big advantages of voice over internet over traditional landlines. Is there anything else that again, just because it's easier to switch a soundbite or a sound clip, what other advantages do you see, because it's your space, of someone who is already using traditional landlines? What are some of the other advantages they have if they switch over to voice over internet?
So one of the big things is, potentially integrating with some of the other systems that you're using in your practice. So it allows our system to talk to those systems and to communicate, for example, who's calling. So now you actually know who's calling and it's identifying that, which is huge. That creates a unique customer experience or patient experience for that end user. You're not saying, well, who's this, or what's your number, or how do you spell that? You know who it is. The other thing it allows you to do is to create an opportunity to communicate in different ways. And what I mean by that is, let's say someone works remotely for your office. Certain functions in the office can be outsourced. Well, now Mango can be used anywhere in the world because of the cloud-based infrastructure. You can now communicate with customers in a different way. So, for example, let's say you miss a call. Well, we can generate a text message to that patient. And now instead of them calling and leaving a voicemail, it's really annoying for people to call, leave a voicemail, and wait for a call back. It's just the world we live in. So we can generate an automated text message to them, which is, hey, sorry we missed your call, text me back. We can create these interactions with patients that traditionally haven't been possible, which is big. Also, we allow you to, we have a mobile application. So now the office members or even the doctor can now take their business phone on their mobile device. So they don't have to use their mobile number. They don't have to give that out, but it still allows them to communicate with patients. So it really opens up a whole new world with regards to flexibility and how you communicate and leveraging, our technology with other technologies to really drive value for the practice.
That makes a lot of sense. And, one of the things you mentioned is they can, take their phone with them remotely. I think you referred to that as a soft phone versus a hardware, like a hardwired phone. So you have hardwired phones in the office, but you can also use, software to use as your phone as well. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep. We have a browser-based phone. You can just pop it up on a browser and make and receive calls from wherever you're at, as well as that mobile phone, which is really nice.
Which is very convenient. So that's a really good way. So let's talk about something. Someone's listening to this again. They said they have traditional phone lines. Let's talk about, and I want to know if it's a myth or not, about the speed of the internet. Because speed of the internet obviously is a big factor when it comes to the quality of, at least I think it comes to the quality of the conversation you're having. There were times that I had where, we've been told that our internet speed was not up to par, and we've dropped calls. We've had very difficult time communicating with them. There's delays in the call. So talk a little bit about that.
So there's some truth to that. Having the right internet speed and the right network settings is crucial to this technology working. As we know, ISP or internet service has gotten a lot better and a lot more stable, but there is times where the internet drops out, and that can affect, some of the call quality. But most people live in areas now where they can get, really high internet speeds. And really, for VoIP to work right, you don't need crazy high internet speeds, but really you need to understand, well, what else is taking up bandwidth in your office? What other applications are you using? And what Mango's really, really good at, and kind of our core DNA, is that networking side. So we understand it really, really well. So when we're working with the customer, we're actually doing tests and making sure their internet speeds are right, making sure their network is stable, and they have the settings in place that will allow this technology to work the right way. If you don't have those, it can create a frustrating experience, because that really will hinder how this technology works. But we live in a day and age where most people, unless you're in, I'd say, a real rural area where maybe you don't have great internet, it can be problematic. But for a majority of customers, it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, that's really good. So let's also talk about how Mango is different, and what ways you're different than some of the competitors out there. Because I know we discussed this as well, and there's a lot of frustration things out there. You read the the Facebook groups, there's a lot of chatter about certain things. So how is Mango different in their offerings, but also their service and everything else that you guys do?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about kind of our core technology and how that differs from traditional offerings. I'd say the thing that really sets Mango apart is our customer service. And what I always tell people, I say, when was the last time you were excited to call your telco company? You know, it's most people when you talk to them and they're having issues, it's painful for them to call these companies because oftentimes they have long wait times and then you get transferred around. So we've really built Mango around two things: is our core technology and our support. And so I told you this, if you remember at the UDA, our average answer time for our support team last month was 1 minute. And we know that's important because when you're on the phone with us, you're not being able to do the things that drive value in the practice. And we understand that. And so there's inevitably questions or issues that we all have with technology. But our philosophy is let's get those answered quickly, get them fixed so that you can be doing things that are driving value in your practice. And that's really what we've done. And so, people love our customer support and our support team is awesome. And I just go back to that. We know that when you're on the phone with us, you're not driving value in the practice. And we want that to be as easy and as painless as possible.
Yeah, customer service. Look, as you know, I run the dental division for Bird Eye, and one of our big things is customer service. But response time has to be quick. I am uber responsive. I get back to someone right away. That's just how I live my life because I get so many messages, so many communications. If I don't, I forget about it. So that's just how I have to live. But especially this day and age, if you can't get a fast response from a company, that's a problem. And, especially with the form of communications that we use. So it's nice to know that the average call time or how long it took to get someone live on the phone was about a minute, which shows you're really responsive to that. And customer service is one of your core values. And that's a great way to build the business is by having great customer service. You need a great product too, but if you have a great product and really poor customer service, that's a major problem that will be the death of a company in most cases.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I will say I was really impressed with you. I emailed you and you popped one right back and I thought, man, this guy's a great communicator. You don't see that all the time. So
that's what I have to do. I've been that way my entire life. It's important for me. So anybody who knows me knows that I'm like that. That's just how I have to. And it's to a fault in some cases because, when I'm on the phone with somebody, I try to be recognizable, but I don't want someone to leave voicemails. I hate voicemail and most people don't leave them nowadays. So I try to pick up the phone and say, look, hey, I'll call you back. I'm on the phone currently. But it's important for me to be able to communicate with people that way and provide a certain level of customer service from my perspective as well. So thank you for that. I want to jump into the pod decks questions, a little bit about, you and your Q&A we're going to do here. But is there anything else that you feel is important to let the listeners and viewers know about Mango? We'll toss out an offer or special to the listeners when we're done. But anything else that you wanted to cover from a product perspective or from a content perspective before we move to another section?
No, the thing I would say is if you've contemplated moving to a cloud-based phone system and you haven't, just give us a call. And our team can walk you through that and talk to you about, what they can do for you, what Mango can do for you. The great thing about Mango is we don't pressure people. We don't have a high pressure sales. We're really here to educate people and help them make the best decision for their practice. And one thing that's important to us is if Mango's not the right fit for you, we totally respect that. And we know that, we need you to be somewhere where you're happy and where it's working for you. But I would say reach out, learn more. And we also love to tell people about what we're doing in the dental community and the integrations we have and being able to educate them on that. So if you've thought about it, reach out to us. We'd love to answer your questions. And if we can't help you, we will point you in the right direction to someone that can help you.
Well, I think that's great. And we'll talk about, pricing and stuff in just a couple of minutes as we end the podcast. But I want to switch to a section for those that listen to other episodes. This is like the lightning round. I'm going to ask Kevin, 7, 8, maybe 10 questions, depending on how quickly he answers them. This is a deck called The Hustle, which really is about business, which I like. So Kevin, let's go through this. What is your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
Of building things, of seeing something grow and scale that drives value to the end user.
Great. What is the one thing that doesn't add value to your life, but you still do it?
Probably going through all the junk email I get and making sure I respond to everybody. I hate email, and it's really painful for me to sift through emails every day and respond to them. But I get a lot of junk emails, so sifting through that is, I know it's important, but it's hard for me.
Okay. What habits have helped make you successful?
Being consistent. I think one of the biggest things of being a business owner is understanding financials and making strategic decisions based off financials is incredibly huge. And I think it's an area that is lacking with a lot of people. So I would say, I love financials. I love making strategic decisions based off financials and just being consistent. I would say that the next big quality or trait of a business owner, just don't give up. Keep going, pick yourself up. We all make mistakes, but if you don't give up, you'll crack the code and eventually you'll figure it out.
That's awesome. Who has been your greatest inspiration?
My greatest inspiration has been, it's my wife. She's really helped me believe in myself and push me to be better. And the thing that I really respect about my wife is she puts up with me. Growing a business is difficult and time consuming, and she's always supportive of me and grateful for that.
That's great. That's great. I think we kind of touched on this, but what kind of culture exists in your organization and how did you establish it?
So to me, culture is really, really huge. We have our core values like everybody else, but these aren't taglines. These are things that we're constantly talking about. Some of those are, we go the extra mile. We do more with less. And we're constantly talking about those as a team. If you don't know who you are and what you stand for, it's really difficult to build a brand. And so that's big to me. Culture is everything. And, getting your team members and people that are part of the organization to buy into that and understand that is huge. And if you do that, you'll build a quality brand and be successful.
That's awesome. If you were to define success, how would you define success? Sorry.
Yeah, I think for me, success is relationships and having relationships. And I think that's important because people that are honest, that treat people the right way, have long-term relationships. And the people that have long-term relationships drive long-term value. So many people are more concerned about making short-term decisions that benefit them versus taking maybe a longer, more difficult road. But to me, nothing matters more than doing things the right way and building those relationships. Because that's ultimately what's meaningful in life and in large part to business.
Okay. And last one, I know you said you don't like talking about yourself. You had a hard time with the bio. We were talking about it, but if you were to write a book about yourself, how would you name it?
I would name it Never Give Up. So, I went back to school when I was 28. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And my wife looked me in the eyes one day and she said, "I don't care what you do, Kevin, but go figure something out. You can do it." And so I actually went back to college when I was 28. That's where I met my business partner, who was in a similar life kind of situation to me, went back to school. And I was able to learn a skill. I got a degree in accounting. I found a love of financials and making business decisions off that. And that one decision to go back and to learn something and to better myself has changed my life. We've been able to grow and sell a company to a Fortune 100 company and now have the opportunity to be with Mango and do amazing things. So I'm so big on this of don't give up. Just keep going, keep fighting. And eventually you'll find something you're passionate about and you'll find success.
Well, that's awesome. And I'm going to ask you one more question, even though I said I wasn't. if there was a book you recommended everybody read, what would it be?
It'd be The Hard Things About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. If you're gonna be a business owner, you should read The Hard Thing About Hard Things. In my opinion, it's the best book for a business owner to read.
I think that's terrific. So, all right. So, Kevin, as we wrap things up here, did you have some type of offer you wanted to offer the Raving Patients viewers in regards to Mango?
Yeah. So we have a special. So here's a special. If you sign up with Mango and you pay annually, we'll give you free equipment. And I think this is important because there's a lot of people in the market that say, we'll give you equipment, but you don't really own it. Or now a lot of companies are saying, well, you have to lease the equipment and you got to lease it for 3 years. We're not here to get gotchas. When we say free equipment, it's your equipment. No contracts. We don't believe in contracts because we want to earn your business every day. As well as if you sign up, we'll give you 2 months free service. So if you pay for 12, you get 14. So that's free phones, no contract, 14 months for the price of 12. And the other thing that we do at Mango, and this has always been true and it always will be true, we don't charge for any of our integrations. We don't charge any setup fees. It's really straightforward.
Perfect. Well, this was an awesome episode. It was awesome to learn more about you, Mango, how Mango differs, some of the core values the company has. Guys, if you have interest in learning more about Mango, please reach out. Oh, by the way, Kevin, how should they reach out to you or someone at Mango to learn more about what you guys offer?
So they can reach out a couple different ways. They can reach out to our sales number. It's 435-767-0882. They could email sales@mangovoice.com. The other thing that Mango is really big on, we're huge in social media. So you can Facebook message me anytime. I promise I'll respond to you and point you in the right direction and take care of you. So call us, email us, or hit me up on Facebook Messenger, and I'll make sure you get taken care of.
Okay. So Kevin gave you the information. So if you have interest in learning more about Mango, please reach out to them. Let them know you heard about them on the Raving Patients podcast. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy the episodes, guys. If you did, please let your colleagues know. Please share it on social. Please subscribe to the episode. Review us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or any of the other podcasting networks so more people find out about us. And as I always end these podcasts, remember, your reputation matters. Until the next episode, thanks, Kevin, for joining me, and we'll talk to you guys soon.